What I didn't understand, and I still don't understand to this day, is a shoey. Hi, my name is Andrew Kim. My friends call me Kimbo. I'm a Kozzie, Korean-Australian, Sydney boy, born and raised. I'm 34 years old.
Hi, my name is Josh. I'm a Korean-Australian. I'm 26 years old, born in Sydney, raised in Adelaide, and I'm here to talk about my experience as a Korean-Australian. Let's get started. Growing up, what did your lunchbox look like?
A bit of both. I'd have sandwiches, kimchi-bokkeumbap. My parents were busy with work, so mainly I'd buy lunch from the canteen. $2 pizzas or a chicken burger. Kettle chips, in the little packets.
Yeah. French fries for me.
Yeah.
They're the best ones.
Yeah. Burger men? Did you have a burger
Yeah.
They were good. Yeah. Did you engage in any Korean popular culture growing up?
Growing up, we didn't really have that many. So Adelaide just became more Koreanized in the past 10 years, maybe less. When I was growing up, we used to have one Korean shop, one Korean mart. We go once a month, stack up on the videos, cassettes, and then just watch them, but they were always a month old. So we knew nothing about Korean culture growing up until the internet started being a thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I moved to Strathfield when I was 10, and I probably spent the better part of a decade there after that. So there was a correlation of my time hanging out at Strathfield and my grades at school. That's the graph. Yeah, it was amazing for me. I met my friends who all came from Korean-Australian households as well. So it was that bond and connection. Typical Korean shit. We used to go to PC방, 노래방, hang out at Strathfield and just run amok and pretend to study, but just do dumb shit. So yeah, it's good.
Have you ever had a non-Korean speak Korean to you? If so, how did you feel?
I've got friends that I went to school with who are Caucasian, and one of them, he calls me a shibanong all the time. It's a swear word in Korean, but I'd say it's between mates, it's a term of endearment. I think it depends on the context and how it's said. Most of the time it makes me feel good. People saying hello or trying to learn your language and your culture.
Yeah.
It's been positive on my end for the majority of it. How did your cultural background affect your dating life?
I didn't grow up with many Asians anyway. I was the outlier. I suppose it was a bit harder to mingle. I wasn't very sporty either. So I don't think it really affected it that much, but I wasn't very concerned about it at that point. What are some stereotypes as a Korean man that you've struggled with?
Probably education and status. So Koreans are very big about that. What university did you go to or what college did you get into kind of thing. All my cousins were super book smart, so went to selective schools and stuff like that.
I wasn't a stereotypically Asian book smart person. People expected me to be good at certain subjects, and I never really engaged with that. I was the weird drama kid or the guy in the library reading up on history and politics and stuff. There was always that pressure of oh yeah, so which med school are you going to go to? And I'm I don't think I'm going to go to that. Even though I did go to one of the stereotypical degrees, I did go to law, but then I realized I'm not a lawyer. I don't like the law. By the standards of Asian society, me not being a lawyer after going through 6 years of uni, I should be a failure, right? But I think it's just letting go of that.
What was one Australian thing you just never understood as a Korean?
Growing up, I did not understand cricket. Honestly, cricket was the one thing I was why would you spend your whole day watching someone hit a ball with a bat? And it's not even exciting. It's not like soccer where it's there's a goal and everyone's oh! It just didn't make sense to me. As I grew up, I'm actually, that sounds nice. And I kind of grew into it. So I like watching the cricket now. About you?
Well, yeah, I played cricket in school, so yeah, I went to private school. So,
that's great.
And I actually used to live next door to a famous Australian cricketer. We'd be playing backyard cricket on school holidays, and then famous cricketers would just rock up. What I didn't understand, and I still don't understand to this day, is a shoey. So
yeah.
People did it in high school growing up. It was a Saudi thing, so a lot of the guys from Cronulla did it. But it's an Australian thing now.
Yeah.
Sports people are doing it. Daniel Ricciardo does it. Yeah, I just don't understand it. Why would you pour alcohol into a shoe and then drink out of it? It's fucking gross.
It might help with fermentation.
Just eat kimchi, bro.
Oh yeah, true. What was one Korean thing you never understood as an Australian?
Ego?
Yeah.
Yeah, trying to act cute and shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's just everything needing to be in a system. You know how like everything is hierarchical?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you know,
yeah,
you go
yeah.
into a room, you have to know who's like the oldest or who's
Oh,
the
yeah.
youngest. I think that was embedded in me for so long. I work in a company where everyone's like just an equal, and it still freaks me out that I'm like, I don't have anyone to report to, or I have to like show utmost respect to, and I'm like, yeah, it feels weird.
I mean, I work in recruitment. I've hired hundreds of people like over my career, and so like something that I've noticed a lot with not just Korean Australians, but like I guess Asian Australians in general, like they lack, unfortunately, sometimes like the people or leadership skills to get to the next stage in their careers, and so there's, I guess you could call like a ceiling. It's like, don't cause a fuss, like don't make a scene, like you want to come in and be like the model like employee kind of thing.
That's what I feel like I do. Like I always try to simulate. And I try to not make a fuss.
Yeah.
And I thought that was just me. Yeah, if that's sort of the trend of like where we as like a demographic sort of, that's the stereotype, well that's what we do.
Yeah.
That's eye-opening. Did you have any male role models in your life?
For me personally, the role models that I've had in my life growing up have been like the women in my family. My halmoni, she was a fucking beast, man. Like, came over here from Korea, sold everything that she had over there, and like gave it to all her kids, kind of thing. So like set them up again. So yeah, she was like a proper like matriarch, and then my mum as well, obviously. Yeah, she used to work at like a famous Korean restaurant in Sydney. Unfortunately, like got shut down due to COVID, but they taught me like work ethic and going above and beyond, and like being persevering and things like that. I had a good combination of people, but I mean, males specifically, like none really come to mind. It's more, I've had to like actively go out and seek that kind of thing, because I don't think they really exist at the moment. There's not really many famous, I guess, Korean Australians, you could say, from like a sporting or celebrity standpoint kind of thing. So yeah, hopefully more people like get after it, and yeah, they can help them pave the way for the new generation.
How do you feel about your heritage now? Do you identify with it?
I feel like I've embraced it now. I mean, there have been times where I wouldn't say reject, but like there were times where like it didn't sit right with me, or like I was uncomfortable about it, just because of like where I was at in my life and like how I was as a person. But I feel like I've grown to embrace it, and I love it.
Yeah, for the longest time I tried to suppress it. I grew up in a non-Korean sort of environment, and then there came a realization, actually, I can be both. I don't have to choose between one or the other. This is who I am, and this is sort of my God-given attribute, so let's go with it. I think also learning about my family history as well, learning about how they came to Australia, it makes me appreciate that so much more.